Welcome to the Period Podcast, hosted by your girl, Tammy Forrest, aka Tammy Lachelle. How are you all doing tonight? Well, I pray that all is well with all of you. I pray that you all have had a beautiful day. I pray that you've had a beautiful week thus far. And I pray that you've had a beautiful month because, as we know, August is ending and September is soon to begin, right? In a few days. And so, if God allows us to see September, I am praying just God's greatness over each of us. I'm praying God's greatness over each of us, praying for God to do something special for all of us, and just praying that He continues to keep us and that He continues to favor us and that He continues to carry us as His daughters. Amen. And so, that is my prayer for you all. Tonight is, we are in season 2, and this is episode 3. This episode is very special because it is the title theme for this episode is Happy Anniversary. So this is our anniversary episode. The Period Podcast is officially 1 year old. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yay. Yes, we are, whatever that was, huh, y'all? It's all good, but we are officially 1 year old. So happy anniversary to us. Um, So on July 31st, 2023 of last year, the Period Podcast released our very first episode. Okay. And so this year, on July 31st of 2024, we made 1 year, which is so huge, guys, to me, because when I decided to do this podcast, I heard to do it. It just began as like a seed in my heart. I wanted to do it because the motivation behind doing it was that at my grown age, I was beginning to find out that I had been so miseducated on the topic of ministration. Like I had been so miseducated. There were so many things that I had never knew. There were so many things that I was finding out and that I was, finding out about my body, my cycle, just getting to know myself more and more, as a woman. And I began specifically to journal about my cycle, my menstruation cycle. I began to journal about it. I began to really pay attention to what was going on with me. And I wanted to publicly document it and start like blogging it, I guess. And so when I began the podcast, even on July 31st, when our very first episode aired, it was kind of like, I was vlogging what was going on because in doing the episodes, it seems that my period was either just going off or it was actually on during the time that the episodes were airing. So I was actually able to kind of like really talk about what I was experiencing. So it was really helping me. It was really helping me. This podcast has been so beneficial for me. And I pray that it has been beneficial for you. And I know from some comments and engagements that it has been beneficial for a lot of you all. And so I'm grateful for that. Um, but this podcast has been therapeutic. It's been therapy. Whatever I feel like we're going through, and we're able to talk about it and we're able to get it out in a safe space, because all places I know aren't safe. And so I would never encourage anybody to just get out there and put yourself out there. And sometimes, hey, that is required too. So let God just lead you with that. But whenever we're able to share and to talk about things that we're going through, it's therapeutic. And it's not only therapeutic for you, it's therapeutic for somebody else. It's going to help somebody else. And so that is what I feel like the Period Podcast has been. And I'm grateful for it. Which brings me to the next thing I want to talk about. I am grateful for all of my listeners and all of my subscribers, I want to give you guys a huge shout out because you are the reason why we have made it to 1 year. The encouragement, the support, you all listening, and then specifically to my subscribers who have become a part of this community. You guys have joined me on this journey. You've made that commitment. We say here at the Period Podcast that this is a conversation about periods. So join the conversation. In subscribing to this podcast, you have joined the conversation. You've brought yourself into a community, to a circle of women um, who are passionate about being informed, being educated, becoming aware of what is going on in our bodies, what is happening specifically in our communities. And so you've become a part of that. And so you are so important. You're so valuable. I'm appreciative to each and every one of you. I want you to know that I don't take it lightly. Um, you all listening and subscribing shows me that you all believe in me, you believe in the work that I'm doing, you believe in a message, and you believe in a conversation. So I want to give a huge shout out to all of you. And at the end of this episode, I have some special news that I want to share, and I encourage you all to get involved in it. And so we'll talk about that in a few. Why we started the Period Podcast? Why did I start? So like I said, the reason I talked about a little bit of the motivation behind it, right? It just was like a personal journey. And so, if you have not had a chance to go back and listen to previous episodes that I have done, which would be any episode before this one, I encourage you to go back and listen because you'll be able to hear my story, why I started the podcast, just more in detail, more in depth, but I'll just kind of hit on it a little bit to, just let you know if you're new here, if this is your first time listening, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you came. Please stick around. Please hang out with us. Every last Monday of the month is when we usually release a new podcast episode. Today is Wednesday, August 28th, I believe. So the episode for this month is released like 2 days later. And that is because on Monday, when the episode was supposed to be released, y'all, I had some personal issues going on, which happens sometimes. So, we try our best to stick with every last Monday of the month at 7 p.m. with having our new episodes released. But sometimes, life happens and things happen, and we're not always able to do that. And so we're not gonna, you know, condemn ourselves or be hard on ourselves. We're just gonna pick up, where we left off and keep it moving. So thank y'all for like understanding. So the what is the motivation behind me starting? So in the year of 2020, when COVID happened, right? You all know that we were like isolated. We were forced to pretty much stay inside, unless you were an essential worker or, you just had to work or had to go to work. That was like the only reasons you were really going out because we were like inside, right? So, it wasn't until the year of 2020, like I said, that I began to really slow down and pay attention because we had so much more time on our hands, right? And so I just began to reflect and um, pay attention to like every area of my life. COVID it was a lot, but it was also to me just a peaceful time, a time what, if you took advantage of it, you were really able to, like I said, slow down and pay attention, and really take life in. You were really able to make good out of the bad. And that was my personal perception of what I was able to do for my life. And I just began to pay attention to every area of my life. And one of those areas that I began to take special notice of was my menstruation cycle. Um, I remember there was one day in particular when I was on my cycle and I went to the bathroom and I passed this huge clot during my cycle. And I was like, this doesn't look right, So I took a picture of it. And what I said was, when I go to my gynecologist appointment, I'm going to bring this up to my gynecologist. And mind you, I had never, um, in all of my years, brought up or talked to my gynecologist about my cycle, nor had ever had my gynecologist just randomly talk about or bring up my cycle to me. The only question that is ever asked, or that I've ever been asked from my experience concerning a cycle, is, the routine question. When you go to any doctor of any sort, they ask, when was your last menstruation cycle? That's it. That is the furthest the topic of menstruation has ever gone for me, with a physician, right? And I, want to advocate for that. And that is also what this podcast is about, just advocacy, because I feel like there needs to be talks about periods. There needs to be conversation. There needs to be awareness, information out there, education. There's so much that we may think that we know and we don't know. There needs to be an awareness surrounding this topic for various reasons. So I went to my gynecologist. I made that appointment. I went to him, and I actually showed him the picture of the clot and talked about it with him. And I was also having, like, had been having for a while, like heavy bleeding, using double pads. What else? Cramping pretty bad, pretty serious, right? And so I brung all of those things to his attention. Long story short, I was dismissed. I was dismissed. I was actually told, I was actually given two options. One of them was to get a hysterectomy. If you've had kids, you're a certain age, you don't need your uterus, take it out. I was told just like that. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was just like that. And the other option that I was given is to pop a bunch of ibuprofens before my cycle comes to help with the pain, and I should be good. That was it. There was no tests. There was nothing, just nothing. No plan put in place to see why I was even having, whatever I was having, none of that. So I was basically dismissed and told it was normal. But I knew in my heart that it wasn't normal. And so I took a step further, and I wanted a second opinion. So I found me another gynecologist, who I did my research, my reviews, and I'm like, okay. And so that's what I did. I found me another gynecologist. And when I went to see her, she did listen, and she did put a plan in place to figure out what was going on. And long story short, we figured out what was going on, what was causing the clotting, what was causing the bleeding, what was causing the, cramping. And at the time, what was discovered was that I had a few small fibroids. That's what I was told. I had a simple cyst on one of my ovaries, and through blood work, it was also discovered that I had iron deficiency anemia. Okay. So it pretty much started from there. I was already, like I said, documenting my cycle. And then when I found all of those things out, and I found that I had been misinformed, I found out that I had been dismissed, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna document this too. I'm gonna go ahead and start that podcast, because I want to let other women know that some of the things that we are experiencing, some of the things that we've been told, some of the things that we've seen is not normal. And there needs to be a conversation around this. So this is the conversation, the period podcast, guys. And so that's how we got here. And we are at a year. Like I said, we're 1 year in, and there is so much more conversation to be had. And I'm really, excited about that. There's so much to talk about. There's so many topics surrounding menstruation. There's so many reproductive issues that women are having, and just all kinds of things. So there is so much to talk about. And so, like I said, I pray that you guys stay committed and stay stay connected to us because there is a lot to talk about and we plan on getting into it all. Okay, so where are we going? What can you expect for the period podcast in the future, in the new future? So one of the things that you can expect is, like I said, more conversation, more topics. You can also expect special guests because I have a few special guests that I have lined up that I would really like to collab with and talk about some things with. And I don't have like the names or when those episodes will be released as of yet. But those are the things you can expect. Some special guests. You can expect us to be available to like a wider audience. Right now, we are on Spotify and we are on Amazon Music, but we want to get like on Apple and just different, whatever outlets are available. We want to be there. We are also on YouTube. So I will link and put in the description of this podcast episode all this information for both Amazon and YouTube. But we are on YouTube right now. We just have the audio versions of the podcast on YouTube, but you can just type up the period podcast and you can find us there. So that's great. That's another place that we are. So I'm excited about that. Also, in the future, I would like to actually do videos, videos where you guys can see me and we can interact. So that is something that you can expect. I want to do some lives, some Q&As, just really connect and engage. And so those are some of the things that you can expect with the Period Podcast. Where we are now on our journey. Where we are now on our journey, on my journey. Um, the last time that I had any imaging or testing done was in 2023. So I'm not able to share a whole lot. But as I progress on my journey, as I, um, get imaging done, get testing done, I will share with you guys the updates, of course. But I can tell you this: the last time that I did get imaging done in 2023, I no longer had that simple cyst on my ovaries, so that was gone. The fibroids were still there, but they hadn't changed, right? They hadn't grown, so that was good news. They were still there. That's not really good because we want them gone. I also had labs repeated, which revealed that I was no longer iron deficiency anemia. So I am to see my doctor in 6 months. And once that lab work is repeated and that lab work reflects, kind of the same, then I'll be released, as an iron deficiency anemia patient or whatever the case is. And so, you know, progress is being made, God. Progress is being made. And I pray that progress is being made for you all if any of you are dealing with anything in your bodies, even if it's not anything to do with menstruation. I pray healing over all of us. Healing is a journey, and so I pray that you stay committed, that you continue to just connect with your body, know what's going on in your body, know when something's off, know when something's wrong, and be your voice. Be a voice for yourself. Be your best advocate. If there's any advice that I want to leave you all with tonight, it is to be your best advocate. Always advocate for yourself. Use your voice to, voice your concerns. Never don't let doctors dismiss you. And if they are being dismissive to you, then they're not the doctor for you. Find another one. And if you're into holistic approaches, try those things. Try to talk to a holistic doctor, or whatever you have to do, whatever works for you. And that's another piece of advice: do what works for you. We all know, as women, all of our bodies are different. Our experiences will be different. We're just different. So we all have to do what works for us. We know that what works for one may not work for the other. How my body reacts to something, your body may react totally different. So it's all about knowing you. becoming one with your body, connecting with your body, and just paying attention to it, and just knowing when something is wrong, knowing when something is right. I would encourage you to journal things, journal your menstruation, start journaling it, especially if you're having problems. But even if you're not having problems, just journal things, and do that with your whole life. I encourage you to do that, to get the things that are in you out of you, because it's therapy. Like I said, it's therapy, it's therapeutic, and not only for you, but for somebody else. We are a community here, is another thing that I want to say. I could not have done this without you all. Again, I thank God for each of you, all of my listeners, all of my subscribers. To my subscribers, you have join the conversation. You join the community. You've become a part. We are one. This 1 year anniversary that we've been able to make, it's because of you all. It's because of the support, the engagement, the listening to me. So I'm grateful for that. I am grateful for that. And because of that, I have some special news that I want to share. And that special news is that I am actually doing my first giveaway. It is giveaway time. So, the way that this giveaway will work is that the first 3 people, whether you're a listener or a subscriber, you do not have to be subscribed to the Period Podcast. Would I want you to be subscribed to the Period Podcast? Girl, yes, I would, because I want you to become a part of the family, and I want you to join the conversation. I want you to just become a part. I want you to become a part of the family. Go ahead on and join the family. You'll be glad that you did, because we are going to make a change. We're going to make a change, y'all. We're going to be a voice for the voiceless. We're going to raise awareness. The end goal is to inform, to educate, and to make aware. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to do it together. So if you have not subscribed, take a moment and subscribe so you can stay in the loop. But this is for listeners and subscribers. So at the end of every episode, I usually do a poll, or I attach questions for you all to answer, right? So the first 3 women are people, who will answer those questions. The first 3 people to engage and to comment, those 3 people will be gifted. I'm going to give you a gift. I'm going to reach out to you, and all you'll have to provide is your shipping information, or your information, your email, or whatever the sort is. Whatever way that I can connect and contact with you, you'll have to provide that, because we're going to be giving away some gifts. So there will be 3 gifts. The first gift will be a period package, and it's going to be considered a large a period care package. So it's going to be like a self-care package for all things pertaining to periods. And it's going to have some things that I use, that I personally use to help me process my period a little better. Some self-care items. Some of those items will be like organic pads, a candle, some belly rub, a tea. Just to kind of name a few of those things. So it's going to be some exciting things that really just help you still feel like you're that girl, even though you're on your period. Like, I'm still that girl. It's just some self-care items. So that will be the very first prize for the very first person to comment. The second person to comment, you will also receive a period care package, but it will be a smaller one, so you will not get as many of the items that the larger period care package has, but you'll still be blessed. And then the third person to comment will receive a Period Podcast t-shirt. A Period Podcast t-shirt. So those will be the 3 items for the first 3 people to comment and engage and connect. So it is giveaway time, y'all. Make sure y'all get involved. Make sure y'all comment and engage so that y'all can be blessed by these gifts that we have for you all. And that brings me to the end of this episode. So, like I said, guys, the advice that I want to leave tonight is just to be your best advocate. If you have support, I would say always bring somebody with you. to the doctor's office always, because they can advocate for you as well. They can be your voice when you can't. You may not be courageous enough to ask certain questions. You may miss something that they are able to hear. So always bring support with you, and if you don't have that support, like I said, be your best advocate. Advocate for yourselves, y'all. This is our bodies, and we must um, take the initiative to, you know, treat ourselves the best that we can. We must take care of ourselves inwardly and outwardly. We must take care of our mental health as well as our physical health, because we are important, we are valuable, we have a purpose, and we want to be our best selves, right? So that we can offer our best to the world and to those around us and to the ones that, God has purpose for us to lead and purpose for us to minister to. So we want to be our best self. So the best self care that you can do for yourself is simply taking care of yourselves. So I just want to leave you all with that. And like I said, another thing, if there's anything like off that you're noticing about your ministration, about your body, or whatever the case is, go and get it checked out. Go ask questions, go seek help, and find out what's going on. So, this is the end of the episode. It is a conversation about periods. So, join the conversation. Until next time, I pray that all of you will be blessed. See you soon.